Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today we got Brandon.
Hi,
We're here to talk about games and things.
I'm in the dark.
Oh, Brandon, this is a video game podcast. We talk about video games.
It's true, we are going to talk about video games. Luckily, I still have my Steam Deck, which is fully charged, so I can still play video games.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I have a new thing to talk about today. Nintendo World Championships came out this week, and
You played that? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I wasn't sure if I was going to pick it up right away or not, and I did. So we can start there.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's get into it. So Nintendo World Championships, NES Edition came out this week. So it's kind of basically, for the listeners who do not know, it's kind of like a bunch of speedrun challenges.
Looks like the remix thing, but without the remix.
Yeah, it's like, yep, here's the ROM. Like, the game is even like, we use the ROM 90% of the time, but every once in a while they don't. I can't tell the difference, or even
what do they use when they don't use a ROM?
Don't know. I'm guessing recreating it, like something similar but not exact. Like maybe like a smaller specific area.
How much was this?
$30.
Oh, okay, that's not bad. Because that'd be like charging $30 and then just giving you a bunch of ROMs is kind of scummy. I mean, not $60, and then giving you a bunch of ROMs is scummy.
Oh yeah. And also too, I think there's a bunch more in here than I expected. I will say, like, honestly, much more pleasantly up on this game than I expected it to be. I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting more like NES remix, which I mean I enjoyed, but I did kind of find it to be, bits and pieces here and there that were fun, and then some were not. So this game has a bunch of the stuff that I do really like. So
how much Ice Climbers is in this game?
Not very much.
That's good. That's probably why it's already better than NES remix.
Yeah, I would say I think it's like 6 challenges overall.
Okay.
6 or 7. Okay. Not too many. Comparatively, Mario 3 is the most. I don't know the number, but I'm pretty sure it's over 20. So,
well, that makes sense because of the Wizard and NES Championship was part of the Wizard, and Mario 3 was heavily shown off in that movie.
Yeah, and so the speedrunning challenges in here, like, they vary pretty wildly, I would say. Like just as a spread, just to kind of like put this in your mind. So like the first challenge for, say, Super Mario Brothers, like the original, the first one is see how fast you can collect a mushroom. That doesn't take very long. It takes like 3 seconds. It's literally like the second question block. Yeah,
it's
so not hard.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. So the last challenge in Super Mario Brothers 1 is so you start at World 1-1, and you have to get all the way through 8-4 using the warps. Like, they're very specifically, you have to use the warps. And it's a speed run from beginning to end. Like, that's it.
Okay. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. So it's like, you're talking either challenges that are going to take a handful of seconds versus challenges that are going to take a handful of minutes. So they can go pretty wildly nice. Some things that I think that were really nice that they did with this too, they made it very easy to exit out of a challenge. 2 buttons, you just hit L and R at the same time, done. Just like, are you sure? Like, nothing, like,
no bullshit. You just get in, get out.
Yep, just done. It takes you right back to the start screen, and you can like instantly go back in again. So it's very nice for getting in and out. So if you fuck up a challenge, you're not just kind of stuck there. They did also put in kind of like a rewind feature. So if you do fuck it up, or if they think you fucked it up, it rewinds a little bit. It's nice because if you are going on like a pretty big run and you fall into lava, it doesn't like necessarily instantly end it, which is great.
Yeah.
But I do find the rewind part to be kind of jarring. Like, it's like a set amount of time, and a lot of times it rewinds it into like a point where, I mean, most of the time when you're dying, it's not because you're standing still. It's usually because you have momentum, and it will rewind it back to where I had momentum, and I'm just trying to like stop myself, and I'll fall in again, and then it'll rewind.
Sounds like they put the feature in, but didn't take into account the game that the feature's included in.
Yeah, well, kind of. I like, part of me is like, well, I don't really like how this works, but on the flip side, I'm also like, yeah, but this is also a speedrunning challenge, and really you shouldn't be fucking up. So I think it's kind of more of a, we put in a penalty so people who aren't as great can still play and get through, but nothing that's going to be so punishing to stop people like hard on their
This
tracks.
sounds like it could be fun. This sounds like it could actually be pretty fun.
So that's just the top. There's like 150, I think, challenges between like the different games that are there.
What are all the games?
So off the top of my head, you got the 4 Mario Brothers, which is 1, 2, 3, and Lost Levels. Excite Bike, Ice Climbers, Donkey Kong, Kirby, both Zeldas. So Zelda 1, Zelda 2, Donkey Kong. I don't remember if I already said that, but that's there.
You did say Donkey Kong once already.
Oh, you know what? I got it right next to me. I'm gonna just pull it up and look.
Sounds good.
It's probably easier because I know I'm forgetting something. Mm-hmm. Oh, Metroid. Can't forget that.
Oh God, the original Metroid.
Yeah. Interestingly,
garbage
though.
one.
Yeah, it's the garbage one, but it's almost like, as strange as this sounds, the best way to play the original Metroid because it only takes the good bits that you want to play and all the other bullshit's gone. So I do consider that a victory.
Is one of the speedrunning challenges getting back to your ship before the planet explodes?
Yeah, so it starts you from the end of Mother Brain and you have to escape out. That's the legendary challenge for Metroid.
Nice.
So
I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, it was actually kind of relaxing sometimes. But yeah, they also have one that's like Kraid Raid. You're fighting Kraid. You have one where you're fighting Ridley. One where you got to avoid the Metroid. So there's all that. Oh, Kid Icarus, another game I forgot.
Yeah, makes sense.
Balloon Fight.
Yep, I knew that was coming.
And I think that's it. I think I got all the other ones off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's that. So those things are all nice. So on top of those speedrunning features, no Tetris.
Damn.
Yeah, there are some surprising like omissions. No Tetris, no some like some of the other like NES games that are usually just kind of always
baseball,
pop up in these
golf,
challenges.
Whatever. Those
baseball, golf,
the black box ones.
Urban Championships, Clue Land, like all those kind of things. They really broke it down to kind of like their core NES games, which is probably for the best.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. Yeah.
Granted, if they really want to, they could always go back and do more. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be a horrible thing to do for an expansion. I feel like it'd be kind of easy, but or obviously they could always go back through and be like, hey, NES Championships. Whatever.
They just need to rename it like Nintendo Speedrunning Challenge or some shit, and then just include any Nintendo game. I think that would be like a cool idea.
That would be cool
like
too.
They could go Game Boy games. They could go like Super Nintendo and all that stuff. And I think that would be actually really fun, and it would make an actual good like series essentially.
Honestly, I really would like to see them do this kind of stuff with not NES games. Like,
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like Super Nintendo, Game Boy. You don't really see Game Boy speedruns. If they had like an entire thing revolving around Game Boy games, that'd actually be kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't disagree. My point was more like because I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying like in general. Like I feel like Nintendo just really kind of zeroes in on NES, and
they always zero in on NES because I feel like it's their easiest thing to do.
Yeah, it's their nostalgia train. They just like to milk that nostalgia, and but I think that they could really, because I mean, what would be really rad? Fucking Nintendo World Championships N64 edition. That would be really cool. Yeah, we don't get any of that shit.
Absolutely. Like a speedrunning challenge for GoldenEye 007. That shit would be awesome.
Yeah, be fucking cool. Mario 64, really cool.
Yep.
Like those are kind of the ones that you
the number one speedrun game in the world, Mario 64.
Yeah, tons of options. They'll probably be like, see how fast you can get up these endless stairs without cheating. Good luck. Like,
no. They would actually make you do the reverse.
Do the jump thing?
The backwards long jump. BLJ.
So other things that are also really interesting about this. So when you're in the legendary challenges, which are each one kind of ends with the legendary challenges. This kind of like that Mario challenge I talked about before. They have kind of like a kind of tip guide that kind of it's vaguely much like Nintendo Power, where it's like, hey, do this, kind of like things you need to know to get through the run, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah. Also, it has some honestly kind of fun online features too.
What's the online features?
So there's two different online features. There is let me see, I gotta remember what the naming of it's called. The first one is World Championships. So this one they give you a challenge, like actually it's 5 different challenges. and you're scored individually on each challenge. You sent in your best time for it, and then at the end of the week, they kind of break it down, and you're given like a rank based on like how well
Oh,
you
okay.
did on that percentage. So it's like, oh,
That's
like
cool.
last week, I was like, oh, you ranked in the top 40% for this, that, or the other. Okay,
That's
yeah,
neat.
that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I like that.
Yeah, they got that, and then the other one, kind of cool too. It's kind of like an elimination game. So it's called survival mode. Basically, the way it works is they give you, they have a silver division and a gold division. Each one has 3 different challenges.
Okay.
And you start out playing against 8 different players, and you're not actually playing against real people. You're playing against their saved ghost data.
Yeah,
So,
okay. That makes sense.
so basically, like 8 people pop up, and like the first challenge will be like, this was the one from last week, so I can tell you what it was. I did it like a million times, so it's struggle busting. Um, First one had like a normal challenge, which was you come up on a screen in original Legend of Zelda, and there's 4 Octoroks, and you just have to kill them as fast as possible. Takes
Okay.
maybe 6 seconds, not too terribly long. Um, Next challenge was complete level 1-1 from Super Mario World. That one takes like 25 seconds.
Yeah.
So that one, obviously you're trying to do that. So and then the last challenge is, so this one, I don't know how familiar you are with Mario 2. It's a bit harder to explain, but it's second world of Mario 2, or second level of Mario 2,
Okay.
where you open up to a platform. There's a flying carpet bird.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
remember that. Yeah.
yep, you got to jump on that, fly across the gap, jump into the pipe where the key is, grab that, and unlock the door. That's
Yep,
that next
got it.
challenge.
Yeah,
Um,
I actually played a lot of Mario 2 back in the day, or Doki Doki Panic.
Yeah, that one's what I always feel compelled to kind of like explain more, because I feel like everyone knows Mario 1 and Mario 3, but Mario 2, you're like, did they play it? How much did they play? I don't know.
So
Um,
I won a Game Boy Advance and Mario 2
oh, nice.
when this system first came out when I was a kid. So my like main game for that system was Mario 2 for the longest time. So I played Mario 2 mostly through the Game Boy Advance version,
So you
but
know really well.
I've played the original one as well, obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what that survival mode is like. The so with each challenge, they basically eliminate half the players. So you start out with 8, and then it's time based. So after the first one, the 4 slowest players are eliminated. Next challenge, the 2 slowest players are eliminated, and then the last one, it's a 1v1
Like
for
round robin,
yeah,
elimination challenge, that sort of
yeah,
thing.
mhm.
That's neat.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Really get you sucked in, because it can get
I
kind of
mean,
competitive.
I'm listening to this and I'm just sitting here like I would play this game. This sounds like fun.
Yeah, this was honestly low key a lot more fun than I expected it to be. Not that I didn't think it was going to be bad, but you just
Oh,
really
you know
don't
what would
know.
be really fun?
Huh?
Speedrunning Mario Kart 64.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, like a speedrun challenge for Mario Kart would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I told you, there's tons of opportunities for this, like this
Hmm.
as a series. I feel like they're at least envisioning it because they went out
So
of their
here's the
way
thing.
to call
If
it
they
NES
were to
Edition.
do what we're saying,
Uh-huh.
they could actually then in return monetize and whatnot, like things that already exist. Because like speedrunning is already like a major thing. But if like they had like tournaments, quote unquote, or whatever, using their version of speedrunning and had like little bite-sized chunks broken out, they'd be able to control it more, obviously, but they'd
Yeah.
also be able to get more people into speedrunning as like sort of like a gateway entry using these games, which would also like give back to the community as a whole. Granted, Nintendo's not in, not someone that would normally do that, but if they were smart, they would do something like that.
Yeah. Although, honestly, I feel like this game alone is just kind of an acknowledgement to that community in general, which I don't, you do obviously see some companies embrace it, but not as much. I
Yeah.
feel like the speedrunning community's not one of the, it's a big
I
community,
feel
but
like
not,
if you look at like something like Summer Games Done Quick, or just Games Done Quick, just in general, like that
Mhm.
event that happens every year, a lot
Yeah.
of developers come out to like support that and like embrace the community there.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's pretty neat. It's a neat package overall. Yeah, so Nintendo World Championship also has a same screen multiplayer mode too. I have
Oh,
not
okay.
played it yet, but it is there for people that want it. I think it's like I don't know what modes it has, but it's up to 8 players, even on just like one screen, which is pretty
The
nice.
fuck?
Yeah, it's a bunch of options.
That makes no sense. Like, how do you play with 8 players on one screen?
It just splits it off into like really freaking small squares.
Really tiny squares. All right. Okay.
Really tiny squares. I imagine it probably works better with something like NES Remix versus anything with any more going on the screen, just because there's just not as much
Mhm.
there. I don't think something like that would be feasible with, say, an N64 edition, which we were just joking about, even if there was some way to do it.
Oh,
Just because I think
absolutely
it'd be
not.
too hard. Yeah, just uh, draw distance would be too hard. You just too much to see. So, but this is what it seems like it works well. It kind of like when you're playing, and I can guess that because it's playable
Mhm.
similarly in like single player modes like that survival mode I was talking about pulls up 8 different boxes at the same time, so you can see what everyone else is doing
Oh,
as
okay.
well. So it's doable. It's distracting, but doable.
So it's like the
Um,
Mario 99 or whatever the hell it was that was out for like 3 weeks.
yeah, yeah. But but otherwise, it's good. Do you have any questions about it in particular? Anything I can answer?
Um, no, I don't think I do.
Yeah,
I do think actually, you know what? No, I do have one, and this is
yeah, sure.
mostly just a joke question.
Okay.
Does it have performance issues?
Yes, it does, but they're in line with the original thing, the original games.
Okay, all right, that's fair then. I think
Yeah, because
Switch can't even run NES games.
yeah, because as far as I can tell, even down to the slowdown, it plays them accurately. Like
Okay,
I'm like, oh, you would expect slowdown there on the NES one. It's going to be there with this. They didn't. I guess probably the better way to put it is they didn't fuck around and make it so the ROMs ran like flawlessly. Like they kept it so they ran like they did on the NES. So
thinkable.
yeah, that's I think is reasonable. Um,
That's acceptable.
yeah. Any other questions?
No, not really.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm sure I'll probably have more to do it. I actually, surprisingly, as much as I thought I could just like blitz through this whole game, I really didn't want to.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to do there. A, B, it's a nice pick up and play game, which I really enjoy. So there's that. And C, there is also there's I guess, but the other thing I should probably put in here too before I completely wrap up, there's different ranks. Like you get ranks based on like how well you complete things. Um,
Okay.
so as far as I've seen, there's like B, A, S, and then there's like a variety of like pluses along with that, like B
Oh
plus,
my
B
god.
plus
Holy
plus, A
shit.
plus plus. So S's are like very tough, which you would expect. Like I honestly think it's like you have to be like very, very skilled to get S ranks for a lot of these. I think like that's
That sounds
not.
cool though.
Yeah. Um, like there are some things I'd be like, oh, I'm like, I'll go to S rank here without even trying. No, it's
Mhm.
not. Like you do have to like really. It's down to the milliseconds on like some of those challenges. Like you might pull out an S rank on some of the longer ones easier. Like that cushion's a lot nicer. But when you're down to like the ones that are maybe only like the one I was talking about earlier, like get the mushroom as fast as you can. Like there is no frame for fuck ups. Like you are just like you got to be like on it. So, yeah, it's pretty nice. But anyways, there is there is something to unlock if you get S ranks and everything too. I'll just throw
Oh,
that out there.
what do you unlock?
You unlock a mode where it is a speedrun mode where you play through every single legend mission back to back.
Yo, that sounds crazy.
Yeah. So, and the legend missions are like I told you about a couple of them already. So
Hmm.
I can kind of fill out a couple more of them that I know off of the top of my head. So like Mario ones, like I said, that's you start at 1-1, you have to get to Bowser in 8-4, and you have to use the warp pipes to do it. So that's 1-1. There's Mario. Uh, the one for Donkey Kong is you have to get through all 3 stages of Donkey Kong. The Metroid
Hmm.
one is you have to do the escape section from after Mother Brain to exit. There's that. The Super Mario Brothers 3 one is you have to complete the whole first world. It's called like They do make a wizard joke in the name. I know that's there
Okay.
as well. I can't remember what it's called, but they do reference the wizard, which is fitting. It's the Nintendo World Championship, so you have to. Zelda's, I believe, is you have to complete, I think, the first dungeon of what it is. So it's all kind of stuff like that. Ice Climbers is obviously you have to get up to you have to complete it. Not just get to the top, but also the bonus section as well. Kid Icarus is get through the first like full stage, which is pretty long if you've ever played that one before. It's not fun. I do not like Kid Icarus's first stage that much. What other ones are there? Balloon Fight is like those first 3 stages as well.
Okay.
I don't know what the rest are, and I haven't unlocked them to look, so I don't know.
All right.
But they're all kind of similar things, like pretty big, kind of full encompassing. A lot of them are usually that first stage or world of that first kind of area. So yeah, pretty significant challenges. So yeah, but that's pretty cool that they let you do them all back to back. Like that looks like it's
that is neat.
Yeah. Not a fun one to do, I'm sure. So other things too, if you get an A rank on a challenge, you unlock a pin that you can get. And you get coins every time you do a challenge. Coins you can use to unlock new stages. You can use it to unlock new graphics or like avatars, kind of like a little images that they have that you can purchase. Usually like it's just kind of like pixel art. Like mine currently is Lemon from Mario Brothers 3. Like those kind of things. There's one more thing I was just gonna say. Oh, they have all these really cool titles too. You can pick a title for yourself. And there are things like I'll just pull up the list. I'll read some select ones because I thought they were pretty funny. Where are we? Like mine
One's
is
gonna be like
one.
Mario, and the other one's gonna be Luigi Mario.
No, that was not there. That would be a good one. Mine is number one at something probably. But you can get things that are like plays with power. You can get the NES's How Old, Retro Game Collector. Your things like Link a Bomb, Sam is Super Fan. Like they got things like that. They have things like N64.
Oh my god! Does it really say like Sam is Super Fan? Does it say like Mario Super Fan or anything like that? Also.
So you have so there's ones for the characters. It's all about Mario, Luigi Obsessed, Rescued by Peach, Link's the Bomb, Princess Zelda's number one fan, Sam is Super Fan, Pit is my one and only, and Kirby's a Dream.
So, and those are all titles, right?
Yep.
Okay, let me break this down for you. In every fighting game, there are titles like that for every individual fighting game character.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these like
for instance, and I'll talk about this a little bit later. I was playing Tekken yesterday, and like I'd be like Asuka super fan, because like there's a character named that or something like that, or the King of the Jungle, for like King from like Tekken, that sort of thing. Yeah, that sort of thing. So it makes me think of the fighting game, like calling cards that they have, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, very much so. And these things too, like they'll show up when you're playing multiplayer. So like when you're doing those challenges I was talking about earlier, you can see what other people's tags they've chose for themselves.
Same. So cool like thing... I have tea drinker as one of my tags.
Another thing
it just says tea drinker. That's all.
Another thing it lets you do too is that there's tags for basically every NES game. Like you can pick your favorite NES game. It's probably on that list, and you can pick it.
Every NES game.
I'm pretty sure it's everyone. There's some really freaking obscure ones on there.
Do you have it nearby?
Yeah.
Right now? Can you check for Monster in My Pocket?
I mean, I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Like the game that I chose for mine is so obscure.
Where is it? I want to know.
Trog.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. You said Monster in My Pocket?
Uh-huh.
Yep, it's there.
Wow. Okay. All right. I see you. NES Championship Edition. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Do you want to pick some other random NES games, see if it's on this list? Probably is.
Give me a second. Life Force.
Services. Yes.
All right.
I've never heard of this game before. The Magic of Scheherazade. Scheherazade?
Try
Never
Bonk's
heard of
Big
it.
Adventure.
You know Bonk is on there.
Mhm.
Well, wait, that was one of the illegal ones, wasn't it? Oh,
No.
Bonk's Adventure's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little Samson.
Yep.
What the fuck? Okay, that's cool. Flintstones.
Listen, I could not think of anything that was not on here. They got 2 Flintstones. Which one do you want? The Rescue of Dino and Hoppy, or Dino and Hoppy, I guess, or the Surprise at Dinosaur Pete? Because you got
It
two.
was the second one. But yeah, that okay. Let me try one more. All right.
Okay.
Super Noah's Ark. I think that's one, right? Or was that Super Nintendo?
I would think Super Noah's Ark would be Super Nintendo. That is not on this list.
All right. Try Bible Adventures.
But I will say though, all the Sesame Street games that I had when I was a kid are on here. Sesame
That's
1, 2, 3,
wild.
Sesame ABC, and the double pack ABC and 1, 2, 3. What was the one you just said?
Bible Adventures.
Nope, no Bible Adventures.
All right, I found one. I think that was one of the illegal cartridges, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that was a 10 gen. Let's see, Bible.
You know what? I know it was a 10 gen. You're right. I mean, is Tetris on there? I mean, like, I'd be surprised if it isn't, but that was also a 10 gen cartridge.
But it was also a legit cartridge too.
True.
Beetlejuice, I just saw that. Yeah, Tetris is not on. Yeah, both Tetris.
Go to X. Go to X. Let me know what's in X.
There's 3 games. Can
What
you guess all 3?
No. Xavius?
Yep.
That's one.
You're never gonna guess the other ones, probably.
Yeah, you're probably right. Give me the other 2.
So the other ones are Xenophobe. And
damn it, I could have got that one if I thought long enough.
This other one I don't even know. Xyz. XEXYZ.
Oh, okay. All right. I actually know both of those, but I would not have remembered Zays.
Yeah, nope, never. I mean, your Y's are Yo Noid, Yoshi, Yoshi's Cookie, and the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. Yeah. So they got pretty much any game you can think of is on here.
That's awesome. Was Zoop on there? Do they have balls?
Zoop? Is that a Z game?
I think so.
No, there's no game called Balls. And no game called Zoop. Xanax, Zelda 2, Zen, Zoda's Revenge.
Wait, Xanax?
Xanax. It would do the C at the end, not with a X. So
the top Nintendo game. Xanax.
Yeah, I love my Xanax.
That's a great game. That's a good game!
What other questions? Do you have anything else I can answer about it?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. All right, let me talk about what else I've been playing then. Because this week took a strange left turn, and I would not have predicted these next 2. I don't think anyone could. Maybe. I guess I'll maybe kind of take the detour way, and
okay,
so you can understand. So how you can understand how I got there. So and it kind of takes a trip into news a little bit. So we'll dive into a little bit of a news story, and then we will go back up. So one news story that was announced this week. So Nintendo had dropped a mysterious trailer last week. It looked like it was for a horror game, but it wasn't labeled for anything. So there's a lot of speculation about what it could be.
Yeah, me too.
Is it a Suda game? Is it, another horror game that's never going to see the light of day? No, it's another.
Yeah, I said, I made a joke on the video, and I said, "Oh, look, it's the next Guillermo del Toro. I can't speak. Del Toro game that's never going to release. Can't wait for this one to be canceled too." That was the joke I made.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, it ends up being Sakamoto making a new Famicom Detective Club. So who would have known? Nobody. Nobody would have been like, "Oh yeah, Nintendo's going to resurrect this."
Yeah, I never would have guessed that.
Yep.
So is this brand new? Like this one's like one that did not exist before?
100%.
They made this one up. Wow. Yep. Okay. All right.
So basically, after they finished remaking the last 2 a couple of years ago, they're like, "Well, let's keep doing it.
Let's make another." Yeah.
And so they did.
Apparently they were good. So I mean, like, I mean, I'll give them a try at some point.
Yeah, I liked them, both of them. Last time I played it, enough so that I was even like with this announcement, I was like, Okay, I'm like, I'm pretty excited for this. I really like the last two. I actually thought they had excellent stories. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, and I'm also kind of like, I don't really remember a lot from when I played it last time. So I'm like, let me start it
Mm-hmm.
over again. So I started it over again just to kind of do that. And I'm sure I'll come back to this later, some episode, because that's kind of where this started. But then I detoured away from it pretty quickly because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm like, if I'm going to play, one of these kind of like interactive stories, I'm like, I feel like I should finish the one that I started this year and didn't finish. So that's what I sidestepped away from starting Famicom Detective Club fully to kind of finish that. So basically, what I ended up spending most of my time on this week was I went back to another code back from January, and I started up the
Oh,
second
okay.
game, which I had started and not finished. So when I say started, I mean I literally just saw like the introduction scene and then stopped. Like I didn't do
Okay.
anything with it. That said, now I am more than halfway through it, so I've gotten a lot more through it. So a couple things I can say about this, the second game in the another code recollection. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so this was the trace memory or another code that would have been on the Wii, which we didn't get here, but it was released internationally.
Okay.
Um, so my thought so far from what I understand is a bit more than halfway through the game. So things that are good. I think the story's a lot better than the first one. Like notably so. The first game was kind of like a introduction to, I would say, kind of the that kind of that genre, but it also had some light puzzle elements too. This game seems to be more of story, less of puzzles. Um, there's not that there isn't puzzles, there's just not as many of them. Definitely not a focus as it was in the first game. This one
Mm.
definitely is kind of about walking through and doing different things. There's they counterbalance that though, I would say, with a better story and maybe choices that have some effect on the story. So
Okay.
that seems to be kind of how they're balancing out. This story, I think, is much better. Even though, like, strangely, it doesn't seem as relevant. Um, but I haven't gotten all the way through it yet, so I'm sure that's probably ties in a little bit more. This one kind of starts up with her on vacation, and she's trying to like reconnect with her dad again, and then her bag gets stolen, and then you kind of fall in all sorts of mysteries. Um, so kind of how that all pieces together, much more interesting. She's much older, so she's kind of more like late teens instead of like early teens, which definitely changes the tone for the way that the game
Mm-hmm.
feels. But I would say voice acting's better, story's better, graphics are better. Like this is definitely a much better sequel all around. I found it to be really enjoyable. The world's much more fun to explore. It's not the mansion that they had you explore in the first game was not the most navigatable. I found myself getting lost in it pretty frequently, even still. Um, which, like, for example, I feel like Lorelei and the Laser Eye has like a more complicated, like mansion layout, but it's easier to navigate if that makes sense. Like it's there. How do I put it? The one in the first game for another code, the mansion, like a lot of the corridors feel very samey. Like you can't really. I always kind of had a hard time differentiating where I was in conjunction, but um, the new area, it's a lot more outdoor stuff. There's a lot more like signposts and guides. Like it's much better at leading you
Okay.
around than the first game was. Um, so yeah, so overall, a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying it. Actually, a lot more so than even when I picked it up the first time. Like this is what I think I was kind of like missing there, or it might just be maybe I just came back to it a different mindset and I'm like really into it now. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm interested to see what they end up doing after this, because I'm now that this has happened with the Famicom Detective Club, definitely crossed my mind where I was like, I wonder if they remade these games too with the intention of maybe making a third game as well. So I don't know. But it's pretty interesting. I'll give more of a full update when I'm finished with that in a few weeks. So um, yeah, that's that. I think that's all I've been playing. Do you have any questions?
Nice.
Anything else you want to know about that I talked about?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
Although I do kind of want to play those Famicom Detective games. So I guess I will ask one thing.
Yeah.
Are they more like Phoenix Wright or are they more like visual novels? Like straight up visual novels? Or are they
Um,
more like Professor Layton, or are they more like what are we talking about here when it comes to the Famicom games, detective games?
I would say probably more
Like
closer to Phoenix
interactivity.
Wright.
What are we looking like? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I would say it's more Phoenix Wright because it's more text based, but it still has those. You go to an area, you look around the scene that's there with like the magnifying glass because there's stuff that's
Yeah.
hidden that you have to kind of search out for. Um, and that kind of brings to like more of the branching story stuff. I will say though, kind of at least in terms of where my memory, there's one gap in my memory I don't remember. There is a distinct difference in gameplay between the first and the second game. Second game fixed something that I found very annoying in the first game. I remember
Hmm.
this, but I don't remember what it was. So the second game definitely fixes something. I think they make it. The first game does leave a little ambiguity in terms of progression sometimes,
Okay.
which is kind of one of those issues that those old school kind of interactive stories always had, where it's like, oh, you didn't think to use the magnifying glass and look at this thing and then ask about this thing, like those kind of things. I think it was something more like that, but I don't recall. Once I finish this up, I should have a better idea. So
Okay.
um, I imagine this is something that I'll probably play in my downtime while I'm traveling, as well as the other things that we have lined up. So like I said, I expect it'll be something I'll probably come back to in a couple weeks when I get back. But I am like super excited. Like this new Famicom Detective Club game, like instantly shot to like the top of my like anticipated list for this year. Not that my
Okay. I
anticipated list
guess.
for this year is that great, but I'm very excited for it. So
I guess my last question would
yeah.
be, do you think I would like these games?
Mm, maybe I don't really have a good gauge on how you feel with interactive story games. You don't play them that often, so my inclination would be probably not, but I don't know.
Well, I like Dragon Grandpa, as you like to call it, which
Yeah,
is an interactive story game.
that's true.
I like the nine persons, nine doors, 9 hour, whatever the fuck it is. I like
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
in those kind of games. So I guess from that information, what do you think based on those specific games?
What did you like about it the most? Like kind of like the story elements, or did you?
So I like of the 999, I like the story elements as well as the investigation and like puzzle solving stuff. But I liked it more when like you actually got to go into like the space and like click around, look around for that
Yeah.
that sort of
Mhm.
thing.
I
And
would say. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, and in Danganronpa, which you still haven't played, right? I don't know if
No,
I'm ever gonna
I
get you to
looked at
actually
it the
play that
other
one.
day. It's still on my Switch. Hey, maybe this is the kick in the pants I need to do it, depending on how long this genre kick goes for me.
I feel
But
like you should try Danganronpa. I think this is the perfect time to do so, honestly. Um,
I
do
mean,
you
I've owned it twice.
know
I've played
anything
it
about it?
0 times. Just vague bits here and there.
Like what?
What is it? It's like the school kids, and then there's a creepy bear, and
Yeah.
then like you're all kind of it's like killing people, but you're trying to figure things out so you don't die, something like
So
that.
essentially, I'm gonna give you like a really basic plot line to it.
Yeah.
Essentially, you go to the most prestigious school because you get chosen due to a contest. Where in this school you have like the people that are like the best swordsman, the best guitar player, the best gangster, all this random
Oh yeah,
best
yeah,
of the
yeah.
best in the entire world, that sort of thing. And all these people come together in the school, and you go there too. However, upon going there for orientation, you get drugged, pass out, and you wake up. Every single window and door is bolted shut, and it's impossible to leave it. Right? Uh, you then meet the evil bear, as you said, and he gives you an ultimatum. He says, "What I want you guys to do is to kill someone and not get caught by the rest of your classmates, or to frame someone else for the killing. If you are able to do this, you get to escape. Everyone else dies." So you all kind of like scoff at it, and you're like, "There's no reason anyone would ever fucking do that." And then kind of he gives you a reason for you to do that, and the plot of the game is for you to like investigate the scenes of crimes when people do get killed and try to figure out slowly over time who each one of the multiple murderers are, because everyone, or essentially everyone at some point in time, is going to attempt to kill someone else for some reason or another. And it's up to you and the rest of the group to figure out who did it and convince them that this person did it, and have the clues to back up that this person did it and actually prove that this person did it. Or if someone's like trying to be like, oh no, this person did it, and you know they didn't, you have to be able to present the facts and information both logically and like based on the character you're arguing with to be able to argue your story and make it so they don't kill the wrong person. Because if they kill the wrong person, then that means automatically the person that committed the murder wins and they get to leave and everyone else dies. So the whole game is about trying to, catch murderers and prove that, who is and who isn't one. And it's really good. It's really, really good. I think you would like it a lot.
I think I would like it too. Probably why I bought it twice. I really don't have an excuse for not having played it yet.
One day you will play Dragon Grandpa, and I hope that day is sooner rather than later. I hope it's this year.
I'm not joking. I actually did legitimately look at this weekend, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that I own this still and have not played it. So I did look at it. So it's it's there. It always falls. That's my problem though. Like it's actually even something I was worried about. The game.
Go on. Sorry.
I was saying it's the thing I'm always kind of worried about with games that just kind of sit on my like quote unquote shelf. Because it's the longer they're there, the less enticed I am to play them. Because like you stare at it every day and you're like, well, I didn't want it yesterday. Why would I want it today? I have the same problem with food too. I don't know why.
One day you just have to like look at it and be like, I'm gonna give this a go and just do it.
Yeah.
And the other thing about like Danganronpa, and this is probably the reason why I like Danganronpa so bad, so much. I don't know why I said bad. Is you get to explore the school in a 3D space. Like you actually like move around in it on like a grid-based format, like you're in like a like a dungeon crawler, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I'll get there eventually. We'll see. See when it is, but like I said, it's purchased, so it's going to happen someday, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So I can talk about a few things I played if you've got nothing else.
I'm good.
All right, so I played Concord, the Concord beta, that live service game by Sony that's coming out.
Okay.
I wanted to play both of the new hero shooters coming out. I actually want to play all three of them, but I haven't got an invite to the third one yet. But I have played Fragpunk and I have played Concord. And Fragpunk is infinitely better than Concord. Concord is so generic that it feels like it was created in a lab specifically just to be inoffensive. Like it's not bad, but it's so mediocre that really it's really boring.
Okay.
So, I played, I don't know, like 4 hours of it or something. And honestly, that was enough. I was able to go through each one of the characters and decide which ones I liked and which ones I didn't. There was one or two that really did stand out that were actually like really good. For instance, like there's like this grandma that actually has like an SMG as her thing, and she's really good. And I was able to take down like some of the like bigger characters. The sniper was awesome, and I actually thought the gunplay of Concord was very well done, but it was in such a mediocre and boring package that the gunplay itself cannot save it. Like it wasn't fun, even though the gunplay was well designed. The game that the gunplay was in was not fun to play, so I didn't care. And then also on top of all of that, this is a $40 title that essentially feels like a free-to-play title, because every time you're playing like a single round or whatever, you're having all this shit go off. It's like, oh, you did this for your pass. Oh, you did this to level up your character. Oh, you did this to get drops. Oh, you did this to unlock a new skin that if you do this, then, but you only can get this much XP every day and you can, and I'm just sitting here like, why the fuck would you shove all of this into your game and not make it free to play? They'd at least have a chance if they made the game free to play and then sold cosmetics. They would have a chance. But this is not going to be sustainable for a paid product. It's like simple as that. It's a paid product that feels like it's a free to play game, and it's going to be dead in the water essentially.
Okay, well that sucks.
Maybe.
Or maybe they'll change their mind. Maybe they'll like reverse course later.
I think there's a few things they could do that would be smart. Maybe essentially go from being a paid game to free to play by the time it goes to launch, or since this is a Sony title, just give it to everyone with PS Plus. That's another option. You know, you buy it the month of August. You buy PS Plus the month of August, or you have PS Plus the month of August. You get Concord as part of the plan. Like that's simple as that. That's probably some way they would be able to keep it on life support for a little while, maybe like 6 months or so. Because honestly, I don't foresee this doing well on PC because we have Valorant, which is our hero shooter. We also have Overwatch, which is, you know, PC's hero shooter, that sort of thing. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it lasting very long there. But it might be able to keep a player base on console. I don't know. I will say I had much more fun playing Fragpunk though, and the other game that I applied for but I've not got accepted to play yet is Marvel Rivals, which is a hero shooter in the Marvel universe, which actually looks okay, but we'll see how that one is. So yeah, I don't know. I'm getting sick and tired of hero shooters, but I'm literally just treating them like battle royales right now and trying every single one of them and seeing how I feel. I don't know. It's whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah. There was a new indie shooter that looked like something that you would enjoy.
What's that? I probably already own it, to be honest.
I think it just came out this last week.
Okay, go on.
I have to remember the name. Give me a second. I'm not that fast.
Okay.
I have to look it up. Where is it? I don't know.
Where is it?
Where is it?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Oh yeah, there's a Plucky Square update this week. That looked really nice.
I saw that. I'm actually kind of excited. I've been looking forward to that game for quite a while.
I keep forgetting about it until they do these things, and I'm like, oh yeah.
So do they.
I know. Come on, where are you, cool looking game? No. Exophobia.
That sounds familiar. Let me see. How's it spelled?
EXOPHOBIA.
Okay. This just launched and is published by PM Studios. I actually saw this morning. I have not played this one yet. You're right.
I told you, I'm like, this game's really new. I'm like, I know you got your time machine. And all,
yeah, but... you know how new it is? Today. It came out today.
Yeah. Although I heard about it like 3 days ago. I think it was kind of like, I think it was someone doing like a, press preview kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it looks really cool. I don't know how much you saw of it, but it looks like it's kind of.
I'm looking at the Steam page right now. It looks really cool.
Gives me kind of like a Doom vibe with more fun graphics. Is maybe the best way to put it.
Yeah, it kind of has that feeling. I would say more like Wolfenstein, but yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like very flat. It doesn't seem like there's any like verticality.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, good point.
Yeah.
This is a very flat looking game. So yeah, the Wolfenstein.
I don't mean flat like unappealing or anything. I just mean like literally there's like no inclines.
Yeah, so, no, I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant there. But that's the listeners probably don't. Yeah, so it's flat like that. For me, the Doom I think had to do more with the aesthetic, in terms of some of the weapons and gory things that they had going around. So
yeah, it's definitely like Doom if it was on like ZX Spectrum.
Well, actually, what I think of is like, it's like I think of Doom with Binding of Isaac graphics. That's what it makes me think of. It's weird.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I like this though, and this looks like really fun.
I figured it looked like something that was like right up your alley, especially with some of the games you've been playing lately.
Yeah,
It
Solico,
definitely.
which I really liked, and then, I mean, I can't really say like Fallen Aces, because Fallen Aces is very like PS2 style more so than like Doom, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I like it. It looks really good. I might have to give this one a try.
I'm sure you'll give us an update in a few with it.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Anger Foot. I'll talk about that real quick.
Okay.
I think Nick had mentioned this when we were on last time. Anger Foot is a foot-person shooter.
Okay.
It is a game that plays like a first-person Hotline Miami.
Okay.
It takes place in a place called Shit City,
Okay.
where like everyone does crime,
Okay.
and like everyone does crime, and the general plot is you are a sneakerhead and your shoes get stolen by the police, so you're gonna hunt them down and kill them to get your shoes back.
Okay.
But it's like actually really fun. It's very fast paced. It's all about that. Going back to kind of speed running thing, it's all about that. Like you really want to get through the levels as fast as humanly possible and get to the exit point. It's similar to Hotline Miami as well. And yeah, it's very good. It's very not like one note, but it hones in on what it's doing and it does it really. Like that's the easiest way I can describe it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I would think
It
so.
keeps adding more things into the game as you go through it, but it never really deviates from its general premise, at least not in the like first hour or so. Yeah, I think it's very good.
Okay.
I did play a few other things I wanted to talk about. I mentioned Tekken 8. I went back and played some Tekken 8 with my friend the other night. Evo was over the weekend, and they had some pretty fucking cool announcements. So I went back and checked out what they had of Tekken. And I mean, honestly, I hadn't played Tekken since last time I talked about playing Tekken. But I mean, I had a blast playing it again. It was like I'd forgotten how to play every single character, so that helped relearning everything. But we were just having so much fun playing Tekken. I feel like Tekken 8 is such a well-made fighting game, and I'm like really happy with it. I've always been a huge Tekken fan. Like it's always been my favorite of the fighting games. So, going back and still seeing just how good it is was awesome. And my buddy had like the fighter pass, so I got to fight against some of the new characters, and it's really enjoyable. I had a lot of fun.
Where did my question just go?
I don't know. I have no idea what you were going to ask. I was given access to Marvel Rivals. Sick.
Oh, I remember what I was going to ask you. Are you excited about what's his name coming back?
Yes, I am. That's kind of what made me install it in the first place. I was like, yo, that's kind of sick. My dude, he literally pulled the I lived, bitch. And then just...
Yeah, there's the question. I'm still gonna think of his name. I'm like going between like two in my head, and I'm like,
Hayachi.
There we go, Hayachi. I keep on trying to add like a 10 in there somewhere, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure just because of the H. I'm like, I don't know where this T's coming from. Yeah. So I saw that today, and I was like, oh, yeah, that seems like Brandon would be pretty excited for. So what's the story? They're just like, I just didn't die. That was it. That's
Bro got thrown into a volcano, and we don't really know how he's back.
Okay, maybe Kirby.
We were told throughout the entire game he is dead as fuck. So we don't know what's going on, but we'll probably get a little bit of backstory when the DLC releases, because it's not out yet for him. He's later on down the line. His was just the announcement that like I lived, bitch, and then we got to find that out at
Evo,
at the end of Evo. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's probably what actually happened is Smash Brothers is canon for Tekken, so that's actually part of that series, and that's probably what happened. Kirby probably just floated down when he was thrown down and just picked him up and flew over. Yeah. So there you go, easy peasy. Or it's not actually Hayachi, and it's actually Kirby, and Kirby ate him and is just pretending to be him now, and nobody realizes.
Speaking of Smash Brothers. We did have another character announced for a different fighting game also this weekend, who is also part of Smash Brothers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Terry Bogard is in Street Fighter 6.
Oh, Random.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah. So it's a Smash Brothers crossover. You can basically have Smash Brothers. You can play as Ken and Ryu and Terry. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is here.
Everyone is here.
Everyone's here in their respective games.
Everyone is here. I
And there
have
was one other thing I played, but I'm not gonna like really go too into detail. But I will
Okay.
say, and I will give you a little bit of a heads up also, because I didn't realize how this was working. So I'm gonna explain this to you
Okay.
for whenever you do play the game, because you will be playing the game because you purchased it. So I
Okay.
decided to play World of Horror on its newest patch and everything, because I
Okay.
haven't played it in like a year, you know.
Yeah.
So I decided to give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, still really good, like
Okay.
really good. And the modding scene's awesome on PC, but we're not talking about PC. But I just want to give you this one little tip. All right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
If you want to save your run, you can't until you've completed the 4 missions and then the 1 boss mission. So you need to do that before it allows you to save. If it tells you something like I can't, like the powers that be or something, some dumb bullshit that like doesn't
Uh-huh.
make any sense when you attempt to click the save icon and then
Uh-huh.
nothing happens, that's the reason why. You have to complete the 4 missions and then the boss, and you have to do that, and it goes in like a group, like 4 missions, boss, 4 missions, boss, 4 missions, boss, and in between those, the boss fight
Uh-huh.
going on to the next set of missions, that's when you can save the game. So this is me
Okay.
letting you know so you don't get as confused as I did.
Okay. Well, that's good to know, because odds are it probably would have been while I'm on a plane and maybe not necessarily have internet. So, yes.
Yeah, that's
Good.
why I figured I would tell you this right now to help you out.
Yeah, good thinking. Thank you.
Also,
Uh,
for some tips on where to go and what to do,
uh-huh.
always read the top of the screen. Like whenever you are in the game, like, because it gives you like areas you can go to, like a little like 3x3 grid of areas you can go to. And
Mm-hmm.
when you see that part, you may be a little overwhelmed, and it's like, what area do I go to? If you look up at the top of your screen, you'll see a bulletin board with like little sticky note like things on the bulletin board. And if you read those notes, it tells you the information you've gotten from going to other areas or that you've found out along your journey so far. And normally that information that it says up there will point you in a direction of where you need to go and search next. So that's my other little tidbit of information as a helpful tip,
Okay.
essentially.
Also helpful. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
no
pretty
problem.
excited. I'm like I said, I'm planning on going like pretty blind, so I'm kind of excited to see what it's going to be like when I actually play it. So that's the hype that's got me excited for it, because I don't want it to be another game that just sits on my shelf and not get played. So, um, yeah. So like I said, I am the only things I know about this game pretty much are what you told me last week. So, and just now. So yeah, that should be exciting. I'm excited to see what it is.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. Other than while the power was out and I was dealing with some dumb shit, I played some PS2 games on my Steam Deck, which was fun.
Hmm.
You remember State of Emergency?
Yeah.
Huh?
You're just like, oh, power's out. I'm gonna play State of Emergency.
Literally, I played State of Emergency, that Rockstar game where like you just cause absolute chaos.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that was so much fun. Yeah, I was
Okay.
playing that, and I also played Gran Turismo 3.
Random. Okay.
Well, I love Gran Turismo. Like, in general, I really like the original Gran Turismos. I have a Japanese PS1 copy of Gran Turismo sitting on my like shelves. I really like Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I know you said that before. That one is one of the ones that you do like a lot. I do know that
Yeah,
one.
I've actually contemplated in the future getting a racing wheel for the PS5 to play that version because I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I mean, the people who are into that really like it. That's one thing I always
Yeah,
remembered.
yeah, but they're like super expensive unless you like
Oh
get the
yeah.
like entry ones, and then you have to like get them when they're on sale for them not to be super expensive. And they're still like 200, $300, and it's like that's just no.
Yeah, it's not a hobby thing anymore at that point. It's like a collector's thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of collector's things, I had a good segue into news.
Go. Let's do it.
There's a new amiibo coming out, Brandon. New amiibo. Very exciting. So, yeah, so Splatoon. Every time I think amiibo might be dead, like Nintendo just pops out new ones. Splatoon is getting 4 new amiibo.
I saw that. I think you mentioned that you found them randomly, and you're like, oh, all right, well, there you go. Or maybe it was someone else that told me.
Well, I
Did
put
you
them in
tell me,
into
or
our
was it
group
my
chat
other?
because I
Okay,
told
yeah,
Nick.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it would just kind of came up out of the blue. They're just kind of like, here they are. Here's some Splatoon amiibo for the DLC that we put out. So they put one out for Marina and Pearl, and what are the other two names? Callie and Marie. Those are the other two. Yeah, so each set has kind of a new amiibo set for Splatoon 3. I guess it was leaked a little bit ago. Like I guess some people had known about at least some of them, but it just got announced they're coming out soon. And Nintendo also announced the quote unquote final Smash Fest for Splatoon 3 for the 2-year anniversary, which I can't believe that's already here. And it's what are the categories? It's like past, present, future, I think is what it is, something like that. So a lot of people are speculating the final Splatfest from the last 2 games had consequences that have flowed over into the new games. So people are kind of curious as to whether or not that's going to be the case with this one. But it seems like it's likely considering the last 2 games. So that is very exciting. I know the final Splatfest is in September. So that is about a little more than a month and a half away. So there's that. Other piece of news that we did not already talk about because Nintendo just had some random shit this week. All 3 Game Boy Advance Starfy games are now available on NES. So,
those motherfuckers are expensive, I think. So like, I'm actually kind of like, that's kind of cool that those are there.
Yeah, we only had one localized in the US. It was the DS one. So even if you had that one, you did not play these games before. Obviously, they did not localize these ones. They are still in Japanese. It's a platformer. It's just not like you need a lot. But I did play maybe like 5 or 10 minutes of it. It's chattier than I expected it to be, but not something you just can't muddle through. I also did try just for shits and giggles to see if I could just point Google Translate to my screen and see if it would like tell me what was going on. It did. And it did well enough that I could pretty much understand what they were talking about. So
Okay.
you do also have that option if you ever wanted to try it that way. But yeah, so those are available. It's pretty fun from what I played. You know, kind of your standard water platformer, I guess is a good way to call it. Like a Starfy or like a starfish in the water. So it's a lot of like swimming around and dodging and kind of that kind of stuff. Although it's not from what I remember, it was not a very intense or difficult platformer. It was pretty all around friendly. So, but hey, if you have NSO, it's there for you to try. Give it a whirl. But I think those are all the news things that I had since we already talked about the Famicom Detective Club earlier.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I actually think I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got all my bits too. So thank you everyone for listening to us tonight. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget you can also get all of our episodes on game-crunch.com. Or if you want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon.
Hello.
Any final thoughts?
My power's back.
Oh, that's good.
That's kind of cool.
That's always exciting.
It came back like 40 minutes ago.
I don't know. I always like it when the power goes out for some reason.
20 minutes ago? Somewhere in there. It doesn't matter. I hate it because what the fuck am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit here and
Yeah.
Well, I do have my Steam Deck, but I can't install any other games onto my Steam Deck than what's on there right now. So if I don't have like a large selection of games, then, you know, or if it's like, oh man, I'd really like to play blank, which I got yesterday. Oh, I haven't installed it on my Steam Deck. Fuck, I can't play it. Then that kind of sucks. And then, oh, go on.
Oh, I was going to ask, is it more of like a fridge management thing? Is that why yours is like that? Like you just don't have like enough space?
Oh, no. It's just sometimes I'm playing on my main computer and I don't think, oh, damn, my power might go out tomorrow. I should really install this on my Steam Deck also. I don't really think that. Just like I was sitting here and I was like, I'd really like to play Bayonetta 3 right now. Give it another go. Give it another try. And then my brain went, you don't have it installed because you didn't like it when you originally tried it, so you can't play it. That's literally another thing that went through. So I was like, oh shit, you're right. That sucks.
That does suck. That makes a lot of sense. Didn't think about that.
It's an issue with the digital age. That's the issue that you come down to with the digital age when you have your internet go out or when you have like your power go out, for instance.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have that issue with my Switch, but that's because
You
I'm
buy
like
physical.
no, because I'm entirely digital, like 100%.
So you have everything installed on your Switch.
Yeah, I'm
That's
like
actually insane.
I was actually counting it this week. I have like 120 games, and that's not counting like the NSO apps and things like
That's
that.
fucking wild.
Yeah. So like if I like on a whim, I'm just like I want to play No More Heroes 1. It's there. If I want to play Pikmin 4, it's there. If I want to play
Yeah.
News of Remember, like I'm like yeah,
And you know what? That's another issue, right? I'm gonna actually talk about this. You know what? I got a little bit of extra time, so I'll go ahead and talk about it. I want to play No More Heroes 1. I own it on my PC. I want to play No More Heroes 2. I own it on my PC. I want to play No More Heroes 3. I own it on my PC. I own all three of them on my Steam account, but
yeah.
due to the DRM they have, if my internet goes out, I can't play them.
Period.
Period. Won't even boot.
No, that's dumb. Dumb.
Fucking stupid. Absolutely fucking stupid. Yeah.
Nobody should do
I
it,
hate. I hate nothing. Nothing actually should be like that. And on top of that, because of the DRM and the way it works as well, because Steam runs on Linux and not Windows based. Due to that, it also causes issues. Even just playing normally at times. I don't know if they fixed it now, but there used to be an issue where sometimes the little, the boxes that pop up in the bottom right hand corner of the screen in No More Heroes 3 where they're talking to you, sometimes there'll just be nothing in the box.
Oh, that's useful.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. So, like I said, modern age gaming kind of really sucks when you think about it in some cases. When like you don't run into those issues, obviously, because you have it all on your Switch, so like whatever. But I'm saying like the trade-off with like DRM and shit on PC is really fucking stupid sometimes, and I really don't like it.
Yeah, that is kind of a shitty thing. If I had to deal with that on on my Switch, it would be
you'd be upset.
Different.
Yeah, and that's the problem I have right there. So that's why I use my Steam Deck a lot for emulation, because DRM's not gonna fucking take that from me.
True story. Very true story. Oh, you just made me think of something else. What was it? Steam Deck. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I do know I was going to say, I think the thing that would be hardest for me if I had that, just kind of with what you were saying, like I think because that's the tricky thing, if it was just so because how do I put this? So if I had bought a Steam Deck, I still wouldn't have that problem that you're having, because I wouldn't be, because in your case, you're cross playing between two systems with kind of the same stuff, so which makes it difficult because you have to think.
Wait, hold on. When you say cross-playing between two systems, what do you mean?
So I mean, like you own a game that's playable on two things, so you have to actively think to install it on both things if you want.
Oh yeah, because you wouldn't have a PC, so you wouldn't have that problem because
if I bought something on Steam, it would just be on my Steam Deck. So you've a more unique problem than like even I, because I was thinking about it. I was like, well, would I have that problem if I bought a Steam Deck? And at first I was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, no, I wouldn't, because I would never install it on anything else. It would just be on
you wouldn't be playing on like a big monitor or whatever like I do. You'd just be playing on Steam Deck. So you wouldn't have that issue. You'd still have the DRM issue that I talked about.
DRM issue, which is dumb. Games,
which is fucking dumb. Which that's why I highly recommend that if you ever do, to be knowledgeable of what DRM, what games run on, or if you ever have any questions, you can ask me and I'll help you out with anything, because I do think there are some very valid problems with PC gaming that I will 100% like stand behind and be like, yep, you're right, 100%. And one of those I think is just DRM at the end of the day, because of the nature of the beast. A lot of DRMs are designed specifically to be like for online purposes only. Like you have to be online to run this, because they keep doing all these checks every single time you're playing the game to make sure you actually own the game. And that really sucks. And there's several games that have this issue, but there's way more that don't. But because of that, you can get very complacent where you're not expecting to run into that issue, and then you buy something that you're very excited to play, and then it just happens that this is one of those developers that was stupid enough to get tricked into adding that into their game, or that feels like they're justified in having that sort of DRM in their game in the first place without recognizing the actual drawbacks to it. And that is a very big problem when it comes to PC gaming. just in general. And it's cropping up a lot more now with these handheld systems that are being made either by ROG or the Steam Deck or the 1X or just the MSI or any of the millions of fucking the Lenovo, like any of these kinds of handheld PCs and computers that are being made now. They're running into a lot of issues, not because of the hardware and the actual system, but because of the software that a lot of things have embedded inside of them. And that shit kind of sucks.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. That sucks. Yeah, because that's one thing that's always been nice about consoles. It's like you don't, the console itself is the DRM. Like that's kind of how a lot of the console makers look at it. So you don't have to deal with the always connected online bullshit that PC gets pushed through a lot of times. So yeah, no, 100% agree with you on that. And also, there is no reason for a single player game to have an online only DRM. That is.
Did you know that Sony's upcoming God of War Ragnarok on PC is entirely single player? There's no multiplayer elements to it whatsoever, and it will not work on handheld systems that run on Linux because they want you to be able to use their DRM.
Of course they do. So
they're willing to take a hit in their sales to push their DRM, which their DRM is a login and an overlay that is included in the game that requires the game to always be online.
But they couldn't do... why couldn't they just... If it's already built into the game, why couldn't they do it on anything else?
So the overlay that they use for the upcoming PlayStation games and for the most current one, which is Ghost of Tsushima, uses an overlay that uses this like login system where you go and log into your PlayStation Network account, because that's, of course, they require that in order to play their game either online or offline. And they only have the online portion with that in Ghost of Tsushima, but it's going to be every portion in all upcoming games that are going forward that require it. And because of the way that the online launcher is developed, it won't work on Linux because it needs a certain security clearance. And Linux is kind of like, yo, fuck your bullshit. That's kind of what Linux is. And because Linux is more secure than like Windows and can get around that bullshit, Sony has blocked Linux from playing their upcoming games. So essentially, Sony went through and chose to not let people play their games on the Steam Deck in the future.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I mean,
it's like I said. I was actually talking with my friend. He's like, Nintendo is incompetent. Microsoft is just fucking stupid, and Sony is the champion of slamming their dick in the car door. Like that's the three. The three levels of.
I actually think that one is that's pretty spot on. I think for the most part. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, this is a detour. I don't even remember how we got here. Was this your final thoughts?
Yep. I guess so. Okay. There they are. That's them.
All right. Well, that's it. My name is Mike Anastasia. You can find me online in Clash of Penguin online or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on.
Little toys on the shelf, they shine. Collector's dreams in plastic so fine. Tap them once, the magic's here. Amiibo, bring them near. Mario jumps and Link's got gear. Animal Crossing friends appear. Each one brings a story bright. Amiibo, light the night. Tap the figure, watch them go. In my game they steal the show. Every world from here they grow. Amiibo, magic starts to flow. dungeon or racing fast. These little toys, they're made to last. Memories from days of old. Amiibo, Amiibo stories told. Touch the base, the game's alive. Each moment big, they arrive. Sky and sea and land we see. Amiibo, Amiibo set them free. Tap the figure, watch them go. In my game they steal the show. Every world from here they grow. Amiibo magic starts to flow. Deep and dungeon, constant door. In my game they steal the show. Every world from here they grow. Amiibo magic starts the flow.
I was fucking around with those AI songs, and I got a real banger of an Amiibo
Suno.
song.
Let's go, Suno. All right, let's hear it. I want to hear.
I was pretty surprised with how this came out. I'm like, this is like a legitimate song. Like I could see this in a commercial.
Yo, I'm listening to it right now.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sharing this with my friend.
I know, it's fucking amazing. And like the prompt was literally like, it was so basic. It was like, make me a song about Amiibo. And it was like, I don't remember what I used. I think I said like with like a piano bass or something. And that was it. And I was like, I'm like the AI put a lot of research into this.
Yo, he just told you to set them free. Bro, we gotta open all Amiibos.
Gotta open them all up. I like to, because you gotta get up close to it. It does that thing at the end too, like where it kind of like reiterates the chorus, but you can't quite tell what they're actually trying to say. And I'm like, oh, it's like such a pop thing. And I'm like, AI even stole that. I don't know. Couldn't believe that. I also got a really good a game of the year song that's almost like it's very nice. Like it's like very Miss America-esque. And I was like, okay. Here, I'll throw that one in there too. Where did it go?
Bro, game of the year this year is gonna be pretty easy. This year's kind of sucked.
Yeah, it's gonna be like the time. Like I got enough decent things to make a list, but nothing I'm so like that it's gonna be nothing's like, been a clear winner.
There's like one more game that could be a clear winner coming out this year, but otherwise, like the best games I've played, one was a DLC, but I'm counting it. I'm sorry, it's just happening. And like everything else was indie titles.
I mean, it's not indie titles are games too, Brando.
No, I'm aware of that. I'm just saying, like Baldur's Gate 3, for instance, last year, or like Breath of the Wild, or Tears of the Kingdom, or just anything like that. There's like nothing this year that's like that. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of things that have released, but there's like nothing that's like huge standout.
Yeah, I'd say right now my top two contenders would be a full-on remake and an indie game. Like those are.
Yeah, right now mine is a indie game and a DLC. Like it's just literally that's it.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
You know what? My third game is a gacha game. There you go. That's where we're at right now. Which, by the way, I played more ZZZ, and I've run out of content to do in the game.
Oh, really?
I exhausted a gacha game's content.
That's not a good
That's
thing.
Impressive.
Yeah. Because that's
they have an update coming out tomorrow. So.
Okay. So at least you won't be that deprived.
No. And I've been doing all the things. They actually did a really cool one where they had a multiplayer Snake game. I mean, like literally like Snake, like the old Snake game. Mm-hmm. You could play it in multiplayer where it's you and another friend versus two randoms, and you're competing in the arcade in the game itself to win prizes, which is really cool.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, so who knows how Game of the Year will be this year.
Yeah, and there's still a chance for Stalker 2 to like take the whole thing, because Stalker 2 is something I've been excited for like 7 years. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess also I do have that new excitement of Famicom Detective Club. So at least
You do.
Yeah, I got another game for my 2024 list.
I got Astrobot also, which Astrobot looks really fucking good, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the Zelda this year I think is just up in the air. It could be good. It could be who knows. So there's that one. And then there's the Mario Luigi game might be fun though. I'm kind of excited for that one.
That's next year.
No, it's this year.
2025.
No, it's in November.
Didn't it? Are you sure?
I'm 1,000% positive. Nintendo they sent out a thing on the eShop the other day. I almost pre-ordered it, and I was like, no, I'm gonna wait because I was gonna buy a voucher for it, and I didn't. But it's definitely this year. It's like November 7th.
Okay. What am I thinking? What's the one that's in 2025?
Donkey Kong for some random reason.
Why? Wait, yeah. I thought Donkey Kong was this year and Brothership was next year.
No, Donkey Kong is next year. No clue.
All right, but you have to admit that makes way more sense. What I said, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it does. It makes a lot more sense, especially considering that in the span of 1 year, we've had 3 Mario RPGs. So it seems very strange that they put it in this year, but it is in this year.
Wait, 3 RPGs?
Yeah, Super Mario RPG came out last November.
RPG, and then Thousand Year Door, and then the new Mario. And okay, all right, yeah, I gotcha.
Within 365
That's all three versions of the Mario RPG world too.
Yeah, they went
kind of
all
impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they had a lot there. But yeah, I'm surprised about Donkey Kong because also I don't know if you saw it. Actually, I meant to tell you about this if you saw it. But I guess that game's like a huge demake too. Like for some reason, I guess the game is like there's some very strange graphical bullshit going on in that game. Like it's a notable down step from some of the stuff that even like the Wii version had.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like
how do you fuck that up?
I don't know. Like people were like, well, maybe it's just really early and that's why it's January of next year and they're gonna fix some of this stuff. But it's like in both the Wii and the 3DS version, like the game had like a bunch of different like graphical things that were downgraded in the Switch version. Like shadows were like, figure based in like the Wii and the 3DS version, and the Switch one they're just circles. Like things like that.
What the fuck?
That don't make any sense. Yeah.
Maybe they're just cutting corners.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's so early and it's not like feature complete yet because it still is a ways out, but you would think with it just being kind of like a upgraded port, you'd think a lot of that stuff would be there.
Oh shit, you could get the Smiling Man and Mario and Luigi Brothership using the game voucher.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't make much sense with Smiling Man because it's a $50 game.
Oh yeah, it's $50. I see that now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna do a voucher on Zelda and Brothership.
Mario. Yeah, I see those two are on here also.
Yeah, I was gonna do those two. You can also use it on the new Mario Party that's coming out this year. And Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that is coming out this year. That might be good. It could be.
That's coming out in October. I know. I was it's one of those things. I always buy them, but I never play them with other people. Mm-hmm. But I enjoy them.
I actually actively played the Mario Party Superstars, the one that existed since. Wait, is that the one that redid all the boards and stuff? It was like 2021 or something. Yeah, I actively played that one online with people, and it was really fucking good. Like really good.
I should probably try to do more of that. I also think too, because we do some like game nights with friends every once in a while.
Yeah,
I actually think they might enjoy something like that. I might try to like ease them more into games and see if they might try something like that.
I feel like Mario Party would be a really easy thing to ease people into because it's just you kind of understand the mini games very quickly. It's similar to something like Jackbox. So
yeah,
it'd be like the next step.
It's very competitive. Yeah, I think that would kind of work with it too. Strangely, I think they would actually really like the NES. The Nintendo.
They might because of nostalgia. Yeah.
They like that, and I know they like the NES stuff too, because I remember when the NES Classic came out, they're like, "Can you help me find one?" So I know they like that stuff. So yeah, so I think that might work too.
Yeah.
So
That's
that'd be
cool.
fun. Yeah. I don't think I have anything else though. That's around my things.
Okay, I think that's it. I think we're good.